What's up, YouTube? It's Rob Live here with Jim. We're back in the house.
It feels like home, man. I don't know. There's something about it, but I mean, I love CMAC. God, they've blessed us with letting us be there for a while, but it's cooling off, man. I like being home.
Yeah, home field advantage.
Yeah, it is.
So welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here today. We have another amazing guest. I know I say it all the time, but that's the whole deal, right? We want to book amazing people. This person has impacted my life tremendously on a very personal level that we're going to share today. So welcome to the studio, Mrs. Alma Martinez.
Gracias.
Now, do we put the conejo or?
Cornejo is my maiden name, but I go by Alma Martinez.
Alma Martinez from Los Baños.
From Los Baños, yes, Merced County.
Is that Merced County?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to start by just talking about the impact you've had on my life, and then we want to talk about that organization. And so I want to start by saying thank you for letting me be a part of the Central Valley Latino Leadership Academy. This has been going on for 7 years now.
Yeah, since 2018.
And to kind of summarize what it is, can you share with our audience what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so the Central Valley Latino Leadership Academy was really like a dream. You know, we know that a lot of places in our Central Valley are not represented, right? When you go to see what the city makeup is, the Board of Supervisors makeup are,
yes.
What even our elected representatives, right? They don't look like us, right? And then there's so many, all of these bodies, right? When we're talking about municipal, county, state boards and commissions, a lot of people, again, they don't represent us. So when it comes to making decisions for us, if we are not at the table,
yes,
our issues don't come up, right? So the whole idea behind this was, how can we build the capacity of the next generation of leaders, right? They're going to start in these areas, right? In these boards and commissions, and they're going to make decisions for us because they know the reality. They come from our communities and they know our realities. That's the first point. And the next point is we wanted to make a space, we wanted to have a safe space for people to get to know each other, right? We have amazing talent here in the Central Valley and we want them to stay here. We want them to connect to each other. And there wasn't a place, Robert, where people felt included, where they felt like, this is my place, this, I belong. So
yes.
We wanted to create that safe space while at the same time building up their capacity. What does being on a board look like? What are my responsibilities? What can I bring to the table? And through a Latino lens, because as Latinos, we do have our own very innate cultural, I would say traditions, but also just bounty that we bring with us when it comes to being Latinos.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's everything I've been experiencing over the last 2 months that I've been a part of the academy. So can you talk a little bit about the process if someone were like, this sounds amazing, how do we become a part of this?
Yeah, so we have one academy once a year, and it's a summer, so people start applying. We open applications in March, and we really send it out through our networks, through our email, so you're able to do an application. The application is brief. It's online. You give us your personal information. We ask you like about 5 questions, right?
Yes.
That you're supposed to type up, and basically it talks about your leadership journey. You're able to share that with us, and then at the end of we have a deadline, of course, when the application closes, and then we have a panel of judges that go through the applications, and we're able to admit between 25 to 35.
Yeah, how do you pick the number?
Yeah, this year we have the biggest number that we've had ever because we have a lot.
38, right?
35.
We have 35?
Yeah, we have 35. Yeah, so we started in 2018, and it was usually it was all cohorts of 25. This year we have 10 more.
Nice.
And we've seen just the the growth, right? We get a lot more applications each year, right?
So
people
how
are
many
knowing
are we
about
looking
us.
at a year?
This year was like 75.
75?
Yeah.
And out of that, you got to whittle down to about half of that.
Yeah.
Then the other half, they can apply later?
Yeah. So the hope is that, if you apply and, unfortunately we don't have space for all, you can apply next year, and your application is weighted a little higher if you have applied in the past.
Okay.
And the whole backing again for this, Robert, was the fact that, we saw other leadership cohorts, right? So there's a lot of Chamber of Commerce that do them. There's even the ag community has like a leadership, development piece. But again, it wasn't tailored to our community. It wasn't tailored to like really be a place where, we can share what our lived experience are.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest goal with Central Valley Latino Leadership Academy. And just for me personally, like in my professional life, like leadership really gave me the opportunity to think like, how can I help other people get this experience? So back in 2013, I had the honor of being part of the Irvine Foundation's New Leadership Network. And when I was in that network, I got connected to a lot of people. I already had like a strong base in the Latino community, but I didn't know who was working in the city, who was working in the county.
Yes. Where are they?
Yeah. And after that, I think the secret sauce for me was intentionality. And I think you're probably living it right now, because when you're in those spaces, if you don't make it a point to meet with them, to have coffee individually, to meet them one-on-one, I did it. I made that commitment with all of the 30 people that were in my cohort. I met with each one of them for coffee.
30, wow.
So I know all of them. And a lot of them right now, they're like heads of organizations, they're heads of the Chamber of Commerce, they're in the city council, they ran for office because of that opportunity. So, I mean, it's also what you make of it. Does that make sense? And I think you're probably living it now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you you see what we're doing, what I'm doing at the meetings, right? It's like, Jim, it's kind of funny because Jim doesn't, he's not there, right? So Jim, the way it works and audience is they have the 35 of us and we come to different spaces for training, right? And we're there for the day. I think it's like from 9 a.m. to 3.
Yeah.
And during that time, right, I'm enjoying the training and the connection, but man, am I just trying to like reach everybody? Hey, here's a book. And then it has our address and everything in there. Hey, have you ever interviewed?
So you're doing both. You're networking
any
and
little
learning.
crack in time or break or even lunch.
Yeah.
And you probably see me. I'm like,
yes.
Because the group is amazing. It's like a all-star group of future leaders, and some of them are current leaders.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I first got in the room, what you did for us, I want to describe to our audience. So they said, all right, you've been accepted. I'm like, yes. And we're going to have and they kind of played it down. I don't know if that was on purpose, but like, yeah, we're going to have a little orientation. Just come to Fresno City, an hour. I'm like, oh, okay. So I show up and I thought, we're going to meet and they're just going to tell us what we're going to be doing. They had mariachis greeting us from Cutler Rossi.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
It was the mariachi, the high school mariachi.
The guy was singing top of his lungs. There was a lot of invites, alumni who had been part of the program, current leaders in the Valley. Like it was a who's who type of thing. And I was like, oh man, I should have wore a tux. And then they call you up one at a time to talk about your current situation in life and where you are in terms of leadership. So it was a big deal. Yeah. And I believe in that. I think that a lot of times we downplay programs and gatherings. And so subconsciously it's like, it's whatever. When I left the orientation, I said, hey, this is a big deal. And I really need to commit to being there for all of this. And it just renewed my energy for it because of the way you guys laid it all out. So if that was the plan, it worked. And I think when I was looking at the other people who were, because this is the first time, Jim, we're all in the same room, these leaders who were picked to be a part of it, we're all looking at each other like, hey, did you know they were going to have a money? Did you know that we were going to go up to, right? And we were all like, no. We kind of like stepped it up a little bit. And we felt accomplished in that first moment. And so that really set the tone for our first gathering at Fresno City. And then also the other thing that I wanted to ask you about is how do you choose the leaders who are going to run our training sessions? How does that work?
So this has been something that we did very, very deliberately once we started. So I haven't even told you how CVLLA grew, but we grew when the idea, it was always in my heart, but at Fresno State, there was a group of Latinos, and I called them the legendary leaders, the old guard, and they don't like to say that, so don't tell them that I said. But, they were getting together, and they were thinking, what are we going to do? We're not going to be in these positions forever. We're talking about people that are, head of banks, head of, nonprofit organizations. Even at the time, it was President Castro that started that with Artie Padilla.
Joseph Castro.
Yeah, President Castro. Yeah, he was the one that got the group together with Artie Padilla. At the time, Artie worked with Every Neighborhood Partnership. And they had this idea. And I wasn't part of those meetings yet.
Yeah.
And then Artie brought me in and he goes, Alma, why don't you start a leadership network? And I was like, a capacity training.
Why do you think he came to you?
I think because I had met him during the NLN. He was part of my cohort.
He saw how you moved.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't tell you why, but he's like, why don't you start it? And I just thought to myself, and I was like, I don't want to start something. We don't want to start something if it's already happening, right? If we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we actually looked around. We did a survey, like what's out there. Like if something new was available, would you be part of it? And we got the information back, and overwhelmingly, there wasn't a lot of opportunities out there. The ones that were far in between. The ones that were Latino specific, there was Hope, and Hope is still a thing. Hispanas Organized for Political Equality, but that's only once a year, and it's only for women. It's not for men.
Yeah.
And then there were others, and some of them were out of reach, money wise. But the other overwhelming thing is like if there was an opportunity, people say that they would come. It was like 98%.
Wow.
So we took that to Fresno State, to State Center Community College District, the Fresno County Office of Education, and at the time Fresno Unified. So those 4 funders gave us the money for our pilot in 2018.
So you had to share with them, hey, here's the idea.
Yeah, here's the idea. Here's the data that we captured because we did a survey of 100 people. Right. And that was those were the results. And overwhelmingly, they supported us. And that's how it started.
Wow. And that first year who was your board?
So we didn't have a board. So CVLLA is now an official 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
We now have a board, but at that time we were a program, right? Because you don't start off as, especially if you're a pilot, right? We had a pilot. We were a program under the Central Valley Community Foundation, so they would keep our money.
Central Valley Community Foundation.
Yes. So the Community Foundation held our money. They were amazing partners with us.
That's a puzzle I'm still trying to navigate.
Well, let's have a side conversation.
Library for London, I remember going to a lot of their training, which was really good.
Yeah.
They had offered a lot of free trainings. They still do that?
They do. They do a lot of capacity, but they have focuses. So I think the first thing is like, look at their focus areas. Is there a place where I could fit in their focus areas? And if not, you have to make that conversation. You have to, connect.
Yeah.
So it's always about connections.
She's always coaching. I love it. She's coaching me up.
I think it's like it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And that's why these networks are so important.
Yes. Was on a side conversation I had with Eddie Valero. I know he works closely with you. What's his official title now?
So Supervisor Eddie Valero is now our executive director. So now that we're a 501c3, we have our inaugural executive director, Eddie Valero.
Eddie. Okay, so he's the first. Wow, he's the first in a lot of things.
He's our first official executive director. I serve as the board president.
Yes.
For the organization.
Okay, so
founder and president.
Everything. So when I first talked to Eddie, I said, "Hey, Eddie, I'm thinking about this academy," and he goes, "The networking alone, the training is phenomenal." But the people you meet in that room will serve you, and whatever you're trying to do. If it's positive, it's for community. And sure enough, Jim, viewers, that room is I wish I could just list everybody off of that room. My goal, Jim, I think I shared this with you earlier, is to have everyone from cohort 7 at some point in the couch.
Yeah.
Because they all have amazing stories.
Yeah, it's
so I'm
incredible.
grateful for you to bringing us all together.
Thank you. And when I look at this, I'm just so pleased because we have people from all over the valley. We've had people from San Joaquin County, like Stockton area. Right now, we have people from Merced County, Bakersfield. We have a lot from Bakersfield, this cohort, but what they do is just so amazing. Like we have people in the private sector, people in the public sector, people in education, higher education, K through 12, and a lot even in the social justice.
Well, I have, because you don't catch all the side conversations, but as we speak during this cohort, there's someone in the group who's opening a business in Tulare County.
That's amazing.
In the middle of that process, and I'm getting to learn all about it. Like, so how's the license and how does this work? And, right?
That's
so
wonderful.
things are happening even as the cohort hasn't even finished.
Yeah.
We're going to be in our third session.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so I'm trying to listen in.
Yeah.
The Central Valley part of it is it's not just a Fresno cohort or a Baker, because you brought in people from Bakersfield. That's Kern County.
Yes.
You know, why would you want to share or extend that invitation to that county?
So just overall, the funding.
I mean, it's wonderful, but I'm just curious, why is it just a Fresno thing, a Tulare thing, a Kern County thing? But
the Central Valley.
Yeah,
thing,
Central Valley is what you're expressing.
So we know that the Central Valley, just dollar for dollar, like we get overlooked a lot, right? So there isn't something like us in Kern County there, and that's why they're coming here, right? They're driving 2 hours in essence to come to the trainings, right? So that just goes to show the need, right? Eventually, you know, our dream is through our strategic plan to make, you know, academies that are closer in distance. But right now, this is what we've done.
One per county?
Not per county. I mean, that would be the dream, right?
Yeah.
But more, you know, to make it closer so it's not as far. But that's like in the future.
Yeah.
But right now, we see that people make that ride.
Yeah.
And then it goes again to show that there are not enough opportunities for them locally. Yeah.
And so one of the things that I really enjoy about the training, right? Because Jim, there's the networking, right? There's the side conversations, which is my yes. But the training itself, it's designed to reveal a side of us that immediately you feel that connection. And I'm going to give you guys an example. It's funny, I'm telling you the thing that you designed, but for the audience, right? Yeah. So check this out, Jim. They said, bring something from home that represents you, your culture, your values, right? And so we all brought different things. And I was trying to bring something small, but it's about the size of this, Jim, maybe the size of that big screen. It's a Mexico artwork, right? And has a lady, it says Mexico. She has the fruit. And it just reminds me of everything that I value, everything that I'm proud of culturally, right? And I was like, man, can I find something smaller? No, I had to take it. So I took this big old thing. Point being that I want to say about 50% of us that went up there were either near tears or cried, talking about, you know, either swelling with pride or maybe a tinge of sadness because, you know, things have changed.
Well, how often were you asked that question in life?
Yeah, exactly.
Show something that makes one thing too.
Yeah.
I'd bring a truckload. You know, one thing that makes you proud of your culture and yourself.
You're right, and so when I saw it, it became, no exaggeration, you were there. It was like a therapy session.
Yeah.
I think I even mentioned that, and I felt immediately much more connected to all 35, and there was a sense of trust, like, hey, you know, I haven't told anyone this, but I'm willing to share with the group. And so it built this thing, and one of our rules, right, I'm breaking the rule right now, one of the rules is not to, you know, take anything that's shared in the room that may be, you know, sensitive and take it out of the room. So, you know, I'm not naming anybody, right? I throw myself under the bus, but that emotional connection was there. And now now that it's all putting all the dots together, I keep looking back at her, right? Because she's in the back orchestrating this thing, and she's like, you know, because you play it off well. Because a lot of times, rarely do you even come up, because you're letting it happen, and you're trusting your facilitator. I'm learning leadership from you right there. Because you know how when you don't trust someone to do something, Jim, you jump in and go, "Oh, guys, it's right." No, she hangs back.
It's a micromanage.
Yeah, no. She hangs back. She lets people shine. But now I'm seeing there's a blueprint. And I'm going, oh. And as soon as I started to see the blueprint, I said, we got to get Alma on the couch. Because, you know, the thing is, we all have ideas. Even, you know, RobLive was something we came up with together. But we're still trying to figure out our blueprint, right, Jim? If we're being honest.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it changes all the time. Location,
yes.
We never know what to expect. We learn so much about what's going on.
But Jim's, I think you're better at the blueprint than I am. I'm about instinct and emotion and feeling, right? But sometimes it'd be like, okay, so what are we really about? Because we did a circus clown last week, and we're doing, like he's throwing all these things around. And I know what he's doing. He's trying to figure out the blueprint.
You need to have that pitch to know, like, when someone asks you, what is this program about? What are you guys really trying to get? There's that bumper sticker, like not knowing that we need a bumper sticker, but more like, what is it in a one-sentence business card to say that we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's just leadership, right? Like, you're connected to somebody that has a gift and talent that perhaps you don't, but you have something, and when it comes together, it creates this amazing thing, right? And that's how it was for us. I got to give just amazing credit to the partners that we started together, right?
Who are the OGs?
Yeah, so the OGs are Alma Elisa. So Alma used to work with Pique, Parent Institute for Quality Education, for many years. Right now,
don't we have somebody right now who's with Pique?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, we do.
And we have, so
Josue.
Alma is like mi tocaya. She's just amazing. And also Arthur Montejano. Arthur used to work at Fresno State doing their leadership, capacity building. And he's just a rock star. Also Yamilet Rodriguez, Dr. Rodriguez, which is our facilitator, our trainer.
Yeah,
and
she was the first trainer.
Yeah, so she's
session.
And she's just an amazing leader and just has done so much. Her in her day job, she works for Youth Leadership Institute. So she's just been just a lightning rod in this work. And that's a starting group.
That's where it started.
That's a starting group.
And then you've had different members.
We have
added or brought in.
we have, now that we're an official 501c3, we incorporated a board. So Yami stepped down from doing the day-to-day work, and now we have Alex Perez. So Alex works for West Hills. He's the director of their philanthropy.
Is he based out of the Kalinga? Or the
he's always in all. Yeah, he covers like the whole
like
West Hills Community College District, and then we also have Yesenia Carrillo. So Yesenia is a employment law attorney.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
she was she orientation?
She wasn't in our orientation. She'll likely be at the fourth session.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's our team, and the lovely part of this work is that we started just recently, about 2.5 years ago. We hired our first part-time employee. So prior to that, it was we were a hands-on board. Like we worked, like we did 550 hours, volunteer hours a year. It was a lot. It is, Robert, it's a labor of love, right? We know that we probably won't see right now and we are seeing little by little, right? What the future is going to hold for these leaders, but we know that we're planting the seeds for tomorrow.
Oh, big time. And I feel that, I've been blessed now, doing 10 years of nonprofit work, to see the seeds of something that grew into something bigger. And over time, you start to get a feel for like, oh, this is going to be huge. Early on, you have, you don't know. Like, what is this? But this one, when I'm in that room, I'm like, this is all. And the truth is, it's already, right? Cohort 1, 2, 3, they're already out there.
They're already out there. They're changing the world. They're doing amazing things. And that's one of the things that gives us a lot of pride, right? We know that we're doing the right thing, and especially in the current times, right? I feel like it's going to take a lot of us getting together, doing things in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Because the resources are going to be a lot less, right? So we're going to have to be very innovative. We're going to have to be very deliberate.
My favorite words that you use a lot? Intentional. That's changed my whole approach to things, because now I can't just do things. Right? What's your intention? What's your strategy? That's what I'm getting the most out of the Academy. Sorry.
Well, thank you. No, that's it. And that's the whole point, right? Like, how can we be intentional with bringing these people together? Like, how can they themselves, like you're saying, like things are already happening, just naturally, right? With all of these connections. So what change is that going to bring to the Valley, right? Like I've always said that the Valley is a place of promise, right? And some people look at us and they're like, it's the rancho. Like, we don't want to live there. Like, there's nothing to do. It's so hot. Like, it's all fields, but there's no, this is a land of promise. Like, there's people like my parents came here. My dad worked in the fields. Like, I have lived here all my life, right? And thanks to them, thanks to their sacrifice, like I'm able to help a little in what the future is going to be for what this land of promise, right? They wanted me to do better.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that we want for our kids, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you say it for our kids, you know what I think about sometimes when I'm in those cohorts? I say, man, is there something for our junior high and high school kids similar to this? Is there something out there that we could embrace? Because like the Yamilet had the youth leadership.
Yeah, so we have been approached to look at youth. So we're like in the middle of looking at what we could
sign
do.
me up when that happens.
Oh, good. Well,
I'm in the high school. He's in the high school realm.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're definitely looking for people to help us think through it and partner with school districts. So more to come, Rob.
I'm excited because I think there's nothing better than to go through it yourself.
Yeah.
For me, I can tell you right now, I will be a very proud and vocal alum of this academy. And and you know what, sometimes, and Jim, I know you've heard me say this a lot, like, why didn't I do this earlier? But now I'm realizing that God has his time.
Oh no, the right time. There's
and
always
this is the perfect time for me to be in the academy with the right group, the right leadership, and so instead of going, I missed 6 cohorts.
No, that's
I was supposed to
amazing.
be part of 7, right?
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, Robert. Like, we're really, now that we're a 501c3, now that we have Eddie there and we have Andrew there, part of our team, we're gonna have that opportunity to really bring in our alumni and help us think, because like everything, we are a nonprofit, but it does take money to do this work.
Oh,
right?
no.
It takes funding to do this work. So we're really gonna lean on our alumni to help us think, like, how can you help us contribute? How can you help us fundraise? How can you help us with your gifts and talents, right?
Well, because you've given us so much. And I want to just point something out. Jim, you know this to be true. It's always the little things. In our classrooms, it's the little things we do. Let me tell you what really touched my heart. We're Latinos. We speak through food. And I never go hungry in that place. When I come in, Jim, they've got the muffins and the yogurts laid out and stuff. And some of the trainers, the leaders, they're back there arranging waters. It's like all hands on deck. Like, I'm not above any sort of job. And he's back there passing out tostadas or whatever it is, right? So there's always food. There's lunch. Those little things like that really touch my heart. It's like, man, they really thought about us.
But I think you too, I got to tell you, like, I'm so impressed. Every day you've been taking us books, and I'm collecting them for my son. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. So thank you. It's
you're welcome.
I think it's just amazing, just the la hermandad, like the camaraderie that happens, right? Like, I feel like after you leave this cohort, you have lifelong friends.
Yeah. And I think about these people. We've only done 2. Like, we got 2 more left. Jim, I'm thinking about these guys. Like, oh, what can I do for them? And I know they got this going on. It almost feels like a family already. And Jim was he's ASB director for many years, right?
Nice.
So he builds teams and leadership as well. Like, this feels like ASB on steroids for adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it does it does say a lot when certain people have different talents that or connections with people that would help someone benefit from whatever they're working on. And so I commend you on that. That's a good role that you're playing and getting these people together.
Well, thank you, Jim. I would love to learn from you, especially working with ASB. I mean, that's just like a wealth of knowledge.
We've talked about this with Robert's son. I think every student should be a part of some form of an ASB program because it gives them those opportunities to know, like Robert said several times, who's cleaning up after this? Who's arranging the connections and putting together? Who's hiring all this stuff?
That's building leadership right there at that age.
We take advantage of so many things in this world to not know like the resources and the thought process that goes behind putting these things together and stuff, and we just kind of move on in life. But if you're involved in it, you're like, oh, I actually appreciate it a lot more than just showing up and dancing or going to a rally or an event. So
But also, Jim, what you're doing is you're empowering us with the strategy and the blueprint, because there are so many people out there with great ideas, but man, when it's time to implement or You know, they don't have it. They don't have it. Jim and I, 2 years, right? 2 years of hard work, stumbling through this and trial and error. And I'm like, I don't know too many people who would be able to fight through these 2 years of you know, obstacles and just figuring it out. And so a lot of times people walk away. When you look at YouTube channels, right, you've had, you know, 5 videos and I'm out. Well, it's too much work, right? And when you look at leadership and you look at projects like yours, you know, there's good intent. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sí se puede.
Yeah,
y
the
al
next,
final no se pudo.
Yeah, because it didn't have that component of strategy, intentionality. There was no blueprint. And so for me, the most valuable thing that I'm learning now is how to start with a blueprint to save yourself from a lot of the, because you're still going to have the struggles.
Yeah, and things change. Like you guys said too, right? You guys have evolved, right? So I think it's like a diamond in the rough, right? Little by little, it gets, you chip it away, and it keeps looking nicer and nicer and nicer, right? But you don't have it all figured out. I mean, even now, like after every session, we ask for feedback, right? So we're learning all the time, right? You could have done this better. And even we have a debrief, right? So I think it's just part of human nature, right? Nothing is going to be perfect to start. It's just starting. Right, starting and being. So I was a journalist, right? So I worked at Radio Bilingüe. When I was in high school, like I had just this deep admiration for Jorge Ramos.
Yes.
And so I actually interviewed him in high school. I started a newspaper in high school. I started at El Noticiero Hispano in high school.
He's in there with the tough stuff.
So I interviewed him when I was in high school, like over the phone, right? And he told me something that I never forget. He's like, those people that you see on TV, he's like, they're not always the smartest. He goes, but they're the ones that don't give up. He goes, they're diligent. They keep at it, right? So I think that is just so telling, right? Like, we don't have everything figured out, but we just got to keep going. We just got to not give up and just keep at it.
There's another
Be determined.
bumper sticker. We talk about people who drop gems and knowledge, and Jim's like, dude, we got to make bumper stickers with all the things they're sharing. And that's when right there we just got to keep going.
Yeah, and I just got to share this. I was blessed to actually meet him in person.
What?
In 2018, I met him in person.
Oh, does he remember you from the phone call?
He didn't, but of course he didn't. I mean, I'm sure he's like.
Okay, so how did the phone call even happen?
So I called Univision locally. And I asked for the number of corporate office. Yeah. And this was I was like a sophomore.
Yeah. How did you know to do that?
And, so I called I asked Univision locally, Fresno, to give me the corporate office number. I called the corporate office number and they gave me his number. They connected me to him and I left him a message and he called me back and we did it. So then he sent me this little card and he gave me his autograph. So when I met him, I just by chance I got to meet him in 2018 when I was in Hope, Hispanas Organized for Political Equality.
Yes. We
had a Washington D.C. event and he was one of the main speakers. So I got up there and I have a picture with him and we're full circle.
Jorge, come on the show. We love you here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to tag him on this.
Yeah, I think it's.
Do you remember Alma? Look what you created.
I'll share that picture with you. For me, it was full circle, right? Because he's somebody that I admire, and just to this day, right? All of the work that he's doing, just empowering our communities. Even though he's not on air now, he does his own Substack and stuff. But that's telling about how he's really uplifted the voices of Latinos in the U.S.
And fearless in his questioning. He'll ask the question that other people will dance around.
Yeah, even when he got booted out of a Trump, press conference.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Right.
So he's been there in the trenches for us.
Yeah. Well, you're in the trenches right now for us, and we're very grateful. We want to leave a link to the different organizations that can help support what you are doing.
Thank you.
Right. Randy, on cue. Hey, Randy.
Yeah. But thank you, Rob. I really appreciate this time. And thank you for just, being just such a fierce advocate, even now, of Central Valley Latino Leadership Academy. We really deeply appreciate it. Gracias.
Feelings mutual. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. And if you'd like to learn more about the Central Valley Latino Leadership Academy, you can go to CVLLA.org. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
And we're going to put a link in the description today. If you guys love what we're doing, remember to like and subscribe and support all of these leadership advocacy organizations that are being created throughout the Central Valley. So for me, Jim Chance, Alma Martinez, Central Valley Leadership, Latino Leadership Academy, this is RobLive saying love, peace, chicken grease. We out.